Ha! So I'm back where I belong. I think it's safe to say that probably at this point, I can't really be seen to um, do things by halves. Um, and with that in mind, I've kind of been a little bit fascinated, preoccupied, whatever it is, by the thought of concert toms. Um, Probably at least for a year. I've been toying with the idea for a while about getting some concert toms. Now, technically, I've actually had a concert tom for literal decades. It's a little, I think it's a six. Well, it's definitely a six, but I think it's a 6x8 that way. Um, it's an old Premier. It may be a Royale, and I got that in the 90s. It's still got the original clear head on it, original clear Premier head on it. It's in a sort of a walnutty finish. Now, I've always used it, or at least sort of tagged it onto my XPK kit, which is technically, I think, in a rosewood finish, but that never bothered me. But I never really found a good enough reason to actually use the thing. But I've, in fact, actually thinking about it, my very first set of drums was actually, now they were double-headed. Technically, they were double-headed, but I never had the bottom heads for them. It was my first kit was actually going in a skip, and it was rescued by a friend of mine, and it was given to me, and so I learnt to play actually on technically a head with no a kit with no bottom heads. But I've been fascinated for a little while about the thought of having concert toms, and I've given lots and lots of thought to it. And then suddenly, here I am today, and I seem to have just loads of them. Not completely through design, but but no, I mean I've got I've gone from having like one concert tom to probably a dozen, probably a dozen. So why am I saying all this? Well, this kit behind me, this kit to the side of me and in front of me is actually an all concert tom kit, and whilst it's not in what I would probably deem to be my preferred sizes, and I'll quantify that by saying my preferred sizes are smaller drums. I've always loved Neil Peart's concert tom sound. And the thought of having drums that really sort of cut through a sonic mix, particularly live, has always been something that I kind of like strive to achieve. And it just so happens that actually it's more in the last few months I've managed to get an obscene amount of small concert toms. As I said, not completely by design, but so I've actually got courtesy of my good mate Charlie Smith. Up there you can't actually see it, but like the stack of black drums in that corner there. That's actually my Timer Swing Star kit, which I will get to at some point, hopefully. But I've actually got 6 and 8-inch concert toms now for that kit. So that kit actually runs 6, 8, and then 8 double-headed, 10, 12. Technically, I've actually got 2 12s, 13, 16, and then the 22. And a lovely set of drums they are too. 82 swing stars. But I've also got, they took forever to get here, but I've also got some of the very lovely, because as I've mentioned before, I absolutely love these drums, which are the Pearl President series, and I got all excited when I saw that they were doing these. And these are 8 and 10-inch concert toms. and they sound wonderful. I've got to. I've got to set up the whole kit for that, because now I have 7 toms for that, that kit. But I've got 8 and 10. That being the 10. I've got 8 and 10 in that particular kit, and that was kind of like my Christmas present last Christmas, sort of to myself, with help from friends and family. Well, mainly just family. I've also got. I'm just looking around to try and find it now. I've also got, on top of this, I've also got, which I picked up as, and by the way, before anyone says, you said like a couple of videos ago you were done buying stuff, and yes, I know, and hey, yeah. I've actually managed to acquire, also in black, some unbranded 6, 8, 10, 12 concert toms, from something else that I picked up, and I've got them set up. I haven't properly played them together yet because I haven't had a proper chance to. But I'm kind of looking forward to maybe playing those as well. But actually, when I said a dozen, I may have understated that. No, tell a lie. It's about. I actually managed to pick, for a very bargainy price as well. I actually managed to pick up some Tama Imperial Star from the 70s. Some Imperial Star concert toms as well in blue, actually not too dissimilar from this color blue here, this shade of blue here. Now these are pearl drums, but yeah, not too dissimilar from that shade. And they are 8, 10, 12, 13. No, hold on, no, they're not. It's 10, 12. I'll get that right in a minute. It's 10, 12, 13, 14. And they're kind of cool. I'm actually I'm itching to take those out on a gig, and I will probably do that the next one I do. But onto these drums. Now these drums are a little different to the other ones in a couple of different ways. So first of all, this is a pearl. I don't know why I'm looking over there at the badge. This is a pearl fiberglass kit, and I know that I said, probably a couple of years ago now, I said, I made a comment about not having any drums from the 70s. And it occurred to me actually recently, when I just remembered that particular sentiment, that was actually wrong. I do have a kit from the 70s. I have a Heyman kit. I have a Heyman, I think it was maybe like a big beat configuration. I'll maybe put a photo up. 26 inch, but I know I've mentioned it before. 26 inch kick, 13 and 13 inch rack toms, and a 16 inch floor tom. And oddly enough, this 16 inch floor tom is floating around here somewhere. In fact, 16 inch floor tom is on the floor there. Probably a good place for a floor tom, really. Drums are from the 70s as well, and I still, they were on eBay, and they were there for ages, and I kept looking at them going, yeah, no, and they were just there, and the price was coming down and down and down and down, and I kind of like. I think possibly there was possibly 2 things about this kit that were putting people off. The first one was that it's 2 colours. Well, technically, actually, it was 3. I got an acoustic. I got a wood shelled blue tom as well, which is up there, which I've let my my little girl decorate as she may wish. But it's that's just an orphan drum, and I'm not really ever going to do much with that. The fiberglass toms are actually in 2 different colours. The first, as I mentioned, is this lovely sort of shade of blue, and I've got 13 and 14-inch toms in the blue. The 14's actually up there, and I've also got I'm not quite sure what you would call this finish, silvery, goldy, yellow kind of colour. And as I said, they're all fiberglass shells. Now, Pearl in the 70s, I think it was, actually offered loads of different types of shell material. There was fiberglass, wood fiberglass, acrylic, obviously wood. Loads, and not to forget as well the metal shelled snare drums. But I've not got any fiberglass drums, and I've kind of been quite curious about how they sounded. So I think there was two things that were putting people off this kit. The first is the finish, because as I said, they're two different colours, and the second was that someone had scratched into the shell of the bass drum, I heart something or other, and I was like, you know what? I was a little bit undeterred by that. I don't know if that's my stupid optimism coming in again, but I was undeterred by it, and so I didn't pay that much for them, to be honest, in the end. So I drove up to. I've done this a couple of times. In fact, my lovely Star Classic, my latest Star Classic in antique maple. Which is just out of the view of the camera, but it's a lovely set of drums. I'll post a picture, actually. I played these drums recently, so I'll post a photo of those. But I got these from almost the same area, and it turned out I drove 75 miles all the way over to another part of the country to pick up these drums. We got chatting. Very nice guy. Turns out we have a mutual friend. Who also actually builds drums, and I have a couple of his drums knocking around. But it's a very, very, very tiny world. Anyway, so I picked these drums up, and I changed that. I got them home, cleaned them up, changed the heads on them. He did mention about not being able to get a very sort of favourable sound out of the kick drum, and I think from memory he had two smooth white CS dot heads on the kick drum with no hole. So I whipped those off straight away. I put a PS3 clear on the batter side, and I've actually got, because I couldn't find anything suitable, but I've actually got it's an Aquarian smooth white something or other with a hole in it. I wouldn't normally mix heads. I did take the logo off the front of the head, but the bass drum sounds fantastic now. Certainly when I'm sat behind it and playing it, it's so big and punchy, and it's a 24 by 14, and I've got. I spent 25 plus years with only one 24-inch bass drum, and that was a 24 by 18. That's the Janista. I've still got it. It's in the other room. And then more recently, I think last year, last year, I picked up, funny enough, actually, I picked up that kit there, another black kit by an English drum builder called Vici. And those drums are absolutely superb, and I'll come to those hopefully at some point later on this year. And they're actually aluminium. They're 1 millimeter thick aluminium. I'm not kidding when I say I can pick up that's an 18-inch floor tom, and I can literally pick it up with my little finger. It is that light. Absolutely wonderful drums. But so that bass drum is a 24 by 14, and it's so big and warm and punchy, and everything you would possibly not expect to come from a metal drum. It's absolutely wonderful, though. Same with this. I'm playing it with the Yamaha FP9 stock beta, and yeah, it's just wonderful. It's so big and fat and punchy, and I love it. So the 14-inch concert tom is up there. I can't really do drums on toms on the bass drum. They're just a little bit too central for me, and I like to sit in a slight V. and so that just wouldn't work. And I don't really want to put them on a. I don't really want two sort of toms that are up here, up high at an angle. It just doesn't work for me. So I've got this. I've got all of these actually mounted on ISS mounts at the moment, and I've got a. This is kind of on a converted Tama air ride stand, albeit it's got, the bottom half is the air ride, so it's basically just snare bottom, into a Yamaha mount with a pearl tom holder on it. But hey, it works and it's not fallen over. So I've got so I kind of was going for a specific sort of sound with these things. So I've got clear ambassadors on the tops. Actually, given the concert toms, it's the only head, so I've got clear ambassadors on them to give that sort of, I think one of the classic sort of concert tommy sounds. But I was very surprised. Oh yeah, so this is 13, 15, 16. There you go. So that's the colour. It's slightly changed by the blue light that's on the floor, but yeah, you can get a better idea of, there you go, that's kind of the true colour. And over to the kick drum. Oh, that's the beta I was talking about. And it's a lovely metallic blue, but I've got to say I do like that finish. I've got to say that the thing that surprised me the most, certainly about the 16, was just how deep the sound is. They're phenomenally low-pitched drums, and I absolutely love that. It's such a thrill to. I mean, I'm just like hitting them for the sake of hitting them. It just such a surprise, and they were so wonderful. That I that's part of the reason why this kit's been up for so long. In fact, I can't remember how long I've actually had this kit up for now. There was a period I haven't really actually sort of played in here for a month, one thing and another, and it was up for probably a good couple of months before even that. So I think I got this kit in early mid-January. It may have actually been up since then. I can't quite remember now, but it's been such a joy to play. It really has. And I mean, arguably, I could possibly throw up those Tama toms, the small ones, and put them up there and have, because they kind of all sort of match, as I said, and just have the, these. I don't know, but it's they are such fun to play, and I'm really enjoying the whole concert tom experience. I'm really enjoying the fiberglass drum experience as well, and I'll give them a play and let you hear what they sound like, and I'm looking forward to doing some of the other concert toms as well. But anyway, oh yeah, and the snare drum is the Pearl Synth-Tone Heritage Aluminium, the 14x5. Just in case anyone does ask. But anyway, look, this is what they look like. This is what they sound like. Thanks for watching. See you again. So I got to the end of all of this. I've just done the 19 thing. And then I realised I'd actually forgotten two other concert toms, which I had bought. So it is actually 21. Quite cool. Very special. They'll be coming up fairly soon, I imagine, as well. Just when you thought this video was over. Right, so things have changed yet again. God, I'm sitting here editing this video and it's just never going to end. Right, so after I said all of that, I went and bought these. These are Pearl Phenolic concert toms from the 1970s. I'm going to have to basically sell some of the other ones that I've got now. I'm not selling the Grand Stars before anyone asks. But these will be turning up in the next couple of days. They'll be coming up soon too.